welcome to the first episode 1 of the Old Church Centre podcast. Can you believe it? Yes, we're going to try it out. So who's going to listen to this? Well, I'm afraid the subscribers might be forced to listen to it because we're going to send it out to the weekly or the monthly newsletter as a little link when you're scrolling through and understanding and learning of all the things that are going to happen in the next month. There'll be a link to this podcast. So that's quite cool and exciting. So for all the subscribers that may not fully know everything about the Old Church Centre, I just give you a really quick, unabridged version of who we are. So we're a non-profit. We're an arts and heritage community group. We are a charity that sits well into the Glens of Antrim, and we are basically here to promote the arts, culture and heritage and to enhance healthy living for isolated communities throughout the Glens. So on that note, what we're going to do is, fortunately, we've got lots of people to interview over the next, we were thinking maybe 12 months or so. So it's once a month, and we'll have promoters, we'll have artists, committee members, and it's going to be the highest committee member that we've got today for the first interview. And that is William Colvin, the chair of Cushendun Building Preservation Trust, the umbrella over the Old Church Centre. So here he is on my left-hand side.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me.
William, how's it going?
Very well,
Thanks for coming on, be the first guest.
And Happy New Year.
Oh, yes. So when this goes out, we don't exactly know when this goes out, but Happy Christmas as well, just in case it goes out very shortly.
Thank you, and you too.
So, William, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm William Colvin. I'm originally a Ballymena man, and I moved to Cushendun, which is hard to believe, 19 years ago. I married a local man, and I have been here now. This is now home, and I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. I work full-time as a payroll manager for the health service and spend the rest of my time down here.
Well, yeah, that's right. You are local, but is it true that you're going to be a blow-in until how many generations?
Oh, at least 3 generations.
Is that it? That's fact. Well, William, you've been around when this building had its big grant, when you refurbished the place to open it just like the way it is today, which is absolutely gorgeous. And can you tell me a little bit about that, please? Just that period of time.
Yeah, the building itself was deconsecrated in 2003 when the Church of Ireland moved out and joined the neighbouring parish in Cushendun. There was a period of uncertainty. Didn't know what was going to happen. And I got involved several years later. There was a photography exhibition on in here, and I dropped in. I'm born and raised through the Church of Ireland faith. So I was always curious, what was it like inside? It was always closed by the time I had moved down. It had already packed in. And they saw a little notice, would you like to be involved in restoring this building? Ring this number, and I did. And nearly 20 years later, I'm still here. But to get back to the restoration, it needed a lot of work. You could tell that it had been on a decline and not a lot of maintenance done to it over the years. Quite a lot of negotiating to get a lease, because obviously the building wasn't ours, so we couldn't start doing anything to the fabric of the building until we owned it. So got a lease, and we'll cover that all in other episodes, I'm sure. But eventually then I started applying for grant funding from the Heritage Lottery. Eventually came through after a lot of work, and that allowed us to go ahead and get the restoration underway.
Well, it's an amazing project. And you are my IT man and my editor for this podcast. I'd let everybody know. So is there any chance you could pop a few of those pictures that you sent me some years ago?
Yeah.
So that the people can have a look, because it was just absolutely denuded of everything, including the plasterwork, wasn't it?
It was. And at the point of deconsecration, a lot of the church furniture, so the pulpit, the altar and baptismal font, they were all taken away to other parishes who needed them and things like that. So we were just left with a blank space. And the idea was to maintain that blank space as much as possible to allow it to be a versatile space.
Yeah.
We were quite fortunate, I suppose, in a way that there were no pews, which needed to be maintained as part of the restoration. So we were able to, they were, wooden chairs. So they were all easy to remove, and we can rejuggle the space and configure it however we want now, that you're not just tied with an auditorium style building where we may well have it done if we had standard church pews.
And the other thing is a comment I hear all the time from people coming in saying, it's actually quite warm, because the expectation is you go into an old church or an old building like this and you expect it to be a bit chilly, a little bit like the same as whatever it is outside kind of thing, But why is that? What happened there?
Well, as you can see, it's the end of December and we are in
T-shirts.
and not exactly freezing. The building itself used to have an old coal-fired boiler.
Amazing.
Which just lived outside in a little annex off to the side, and there was a single pipe ran from it, and it did several loops around the inside perimeter of the building, and that was the source of heating. I don't know how long ago since that was defunct, because it was an antique.
Do we still have?
It's still knocking about. Yes, it's not. We're not using it obviously, but
No.
we still have it.
Yeah.
And there was some electric heaters and that, installed for probably the last 15, 10 years or whatever, of the church to get a little bit of heat. But it was a cold, damp, dark building, which had not even any running water. Here we are now, as part of the restoration. We went eco-friendly with a heat pump. Yeah. And it's now providing underfloor heating and hot water and those sorts of things.
It's amazing how many thousands of people you have had in all different parts of the community, different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, etc. And it's open absolutely to everybody, isn't it? But so you've been chair of this organization for a number of years now. What is it like? And here's the challenging question. I'll underline the word challenging. What are the challenges going forward for the old church?
It's always challenging. The elephant in the room is always money. How can we maintain it with the gigs and things and that what we do? Certainly they bring in a little bit of money, but nowhere near what it takes to cost to run the place, including salaries and things like that. And we're very heavily reliant and grateful and thankful to funding. There's an awful lot of work goes into that, which I think you've seen in your time here too, applying for the grants and then follow-up paperwork afterwards, which when you're volunteering, I think it's easier to have somebody to volunteer to come down and help out at an event or something like that, but reach them a spreadsheet and a budget and say, go away and do that. That's always a little bit more challenging, but with my finance background, I kind of enjoy that. I'm a bit of geek of the week in terms of that.
He is a geek, by the way.
I've no doubt that it will continue to run and thrive, but kind of succession planning is always something that I think every group and every organization should be thinking about. I'm in no way thinking of running away or anything like that, but it's really nice to try and encourage a lot more younger people to get involved. I know I still include myself very loosely in that bracket, but just coming through and helping out at events. And we have seen that now recently. We have had a few younger volunteers coming in, so kind of nice to involve them more and kind of bring them onto board life as such, which I think can be daunting for young people. Because I'm on the board nearly 20 years here, so I have got I can see the benefits that can bring, a different point of view and a different perspective on things. And you might organize events for their own age group, so you're always trying to suck in a new audience.
Yeah, and we went through a process, didn't we? After one of the big grants that we got, we went through a process, and one of the outcomes was to look at the younger communities, to get them in to the door, even to start representing the old church, in order to kind of spread that thought process throughout the Glens, so that we could kind of be understood. And that, and one thing we're doing is music, and we've got a few gigs coming up as well, don't we? And we do our best to kind of create that live event scenario in the old church. Can you give us just a synopsis of some of the music we've had here?
Yeah, we've had a load of different ranges of music, from the Ulster Orchestra at one end of the scale with their beautiful music right through. We've had Brian Kennedy performing, Liam O'Malley from the Hot House Flowers, and a lot of big local names that have come to play, and including our own local homegrown groups. Runabay have been here a couple of times.
Yeah.
And Pierre Blarney. We've had a lot of different things, as well as Paddy Keelty and his stand-up tour. He launched his most recent tour before RTE snapped him up for their weekly program.
Yeah.
He was down here, and it was absolutely incredible. And it's at those points you can sit back and think, gosh, we've done a thing.
We've done
here.
all right.
Yeah,
it was a late show, wasn't it?
We've been recognised, and we're now sitting packed to the rafters with paying guests.
Well, within the last little segment, you like to go into just a little bit more kind of personal questions, as in like, what makes you tick? What do you do? You're obviously not employed by the Old Church Centre, but what is it you do? And yeah, just let's go that direction.
But give a bit about my employment. Anyways, you know, I work in finance for the health service. I enjoy tinkering about at things. So I'm looking forward to the podcast chapter as we move into it and learn and develop those types of new skills. I'm always trying to pick up new skills along the way. I'm involved in our local residents association, the Cushendun District Development Association. I also chair the Northern Area Community Network, which is another big umbrella organisation in the community and voluntary sector. So I do spend a lot of time on voluntary work, which I really do enjoy.
Takes up a lot of your time. You're very much a community person and a leader within that segment, I suppose. William, listen, thank you so much for coming on board. This is the first podcast, so this might be a little tester. We might send it out to everybody because we have a few gigs next month in January. Can you believe? First of all, well, happy Christmas to everybody and New Year, depending on this when it goes out. But on the 24th of January, 7:30, and you can buy your tickets online on our website, we have Burns Night. Now, the last number of years, it's a real blast, I believe. And it's kind of bring your own scenario. But not only do you bring your own, you also get fed. I think there's going to be some haggis there. There's going to be platters. Our lovely caterer, Patricia Mackay, is going to look after you really well. There's a caller, therefore there's dancing. Oh, yes. There's a piper and there's a drummer, which covers a lot of the Scottish kind of heritage side of things. There's a poet coming to kind of say a few words from Robert Burns' poems. So it's going to be a fantastic occasion. Those tickets go very fast. And 1 week after that, we've got a young lad heading a band called Conor McCann and the Heroines. So he is meant to be a great kind of trad rock type band, kind of a bit of pure Blarney and then more of the traditional stuff. So a real kind of marriage in that. It'd be great to get Conor on, wouldn't it? Actually, it'd be great to get Conor on before the gig. So they're the two main events in January, and the following month then, well, we can talk about that again. But just from me, Steve, and thanks, William. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you all for going through this arduous process of pressing the link and listening to us for the first time.
And if you'd like to get more information about the Old Church, there'll be a link in the description along the bottom, or you can scan the QR code up over my shoulder and that'll take you through to our website.
Thanks a million, folks. Until next month, take care from the Old Church Centre.